here in Mobile. He came and helped me do the rest of it.
What's his name now? I think
Danny. His name is Danny, just like mine is.
That's a ginger.
Danny Fox.
and so a lot of our canned goods, we just store it down in the basement. Of course, now in the summertime, I mean the wintertime, it does, you know, because you got heat in the house. Obviously, it stays at about 75 degrees, but in the summertime, it's always cool in the basement. You know?
Yeah.
I'm so amazed about it. That's good. Yeah, that's the emergency for water, I think.
Yes.
Is that like
Peanuts.
salted?
Salted peanuts.
Salted peanuts.
You have peanuts too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, everything
Apples.
almost. A peach. Peach or pear?
Pears.
Pear.
Oh, you know this one.
Fig. Yeah, she has
Did you ever
fig.
make any fig jam?
Yes, there's some up there in one of them jars. There's
okay.
big jam.
And we do too. Or had
Yeah, we got some
years
here. We got
past.
strawberry figs.
Yeah.
Wow. What is this, honey? Or sugar
No, this
cane?
is
Sugar cane? No.
fig jelly.
Kiku.
Wood.
So good.
Kiku.
Huh? Oh.
English peas.
He's good.
I
Yeah.
have,
Wow.
I have the most difficult time growing peas.
Well, there's really. I use when I put my seeds in the ground. I use mycorrhizal bacteria with it.
I can get them up. I don't have a problem getting them sprouted, getting them up. I can get them up that high. And then I usually,
What happens to them once you get them to that point?
well, I usually don't go straight into the ground because most of the time the ground is like early spring. Okay, so the ground's cold and wet.
Right.
So they'll lay there and rot instead of sprout.
Okay.
So what I do is I sprout them in soil blocks.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and then transplant them into the garden. And this year, some years I've had good success, but this year, they just seem like they want to sit there, don't want to do nothing, you know. And my brother, I talked with him up in Memphis, and he's the same way. Now, I never have done a soil test, so I don't know what the,
I was going to say, yeah.
I don't know what the condition of the
Evidently,
soil.
it got to a point that it wasn't pulling the nitrogen from the air like it should have, or
Yeah.
something. Because in the first, you got to have the nitrogen coming from the soil when they're young.
Yeah,
And then when they get ours get up, well, they'll get this tall. I mean,
yeah, different varieties get
well, we only plant one variety because that's the only one we found that actually will make
makes here.
the little marble. That's the only
We-
one.
I've grown little marbles.
Now, I've tried Lincoln and the different ones. Now, they make a beautiful plant and they have a few beans on them,
Yeah,
but they're not loaded
Yeah.
with beans. And
yeah, we've grown little marbles. I've grown
Deal pepper.
Laxton Progress.
He know everything, but I think you have
Old Alabama Gardener and Deep South Gardener, Homestead, have a little porch time.
that sounds good to me. What kind of subject do we want to use?
How much we love gardening. I
How much
guess
we love
do
gardening.
enjoy your porch time. Well, and everything that y'all do, they really enjoy. And so that's great.
Well, it's always been mine and Wanda's desire since we got married was to have a way. We first thought maybe it was some sort of a mission work, you know, to go out and do a type of mission work somewhere, but that never developed after several years.
Yeah.
And then we began to look otherwise, and I told her one day, I said, you know what, I'm not getting any younger. You know, so and God has been good enough to me he's given me enough knowledge over the years about growing things and looking at the way in which this society's going.
Yeah.
The young people today are not being taught.
Nope. Yeah.
And I decided, I told her, I said, you know what, we're going to do a porch time, and we're going to sit down and we're going to start sharing information with people so that this generation coming along behind us has got somewhere to go to get some sort of valuable information.
Well, and you see it in a lot of the comments. They'll say, my grandmother grew a garden, but after that nobody grew a garden, so I don't know how. Or it may be their parents, maybe their mother
Yes.
grew a garden, but I didn't pay attention
Yes, that's the big issue.
when I
yeah.
was young, and I didn't
Yeah.
learn from them, and now they've passed on. and so therefore I don't have any way of knowing. And then you usually say thank you for putting this video up,
Yes.
or that kind of a thing, you know. Yeah.
Well, we see that on a regular basis. And I guess where Wanda and I we struggle sometimes is things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Other people
Yeah.
grasp for.
Yeah. They think, wow, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just common everyday stuff to us.
Exactly. I mean, and that's why, I watch your channel. I mean, I may not always leave a lot of comments on different channels, but I watch you. I watch Okie Rob. You know,
Yeah.
some of our people that's like, I'm gonna say my age and maybe a little older, because I want to learn as well as anybody else. I mean,
I told you how old I'm already,
Yeah.
and I'm still learning.
I mean, you had put out one on onions, and see, I fight with onions here, trying to get those things to grow, and I didn't realize that onions needed a lot of nitrogen.
To make them get big.
Yes.
Yeah, the big slicing onions. And that was a learning video for me too, because there was somebody else, I forgot who it was now, and they were prompting me, or they were helping me. But yeah, they do, and a lot of water.
A lot of water.
Because the onion is mostly water, you know.
And I was, as much as I knew about gardening, I didn't realize that with every leaflet coming up on that onion,
Yeah.
made a ring on that onion.
Right.
And you wanted at least, what is it, 8 to 10 of them per? Or,
10, 13, better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I kept looking at my onions, and I'd have 4 or 5, and I was like, thinking I had a
Why?
bulb, and I didn't
Yeah.
have a bulb.
Right. Well, see what you have to think about onions is don't think about them as a root crop.
Right.
Think about them as a foliage crop.
Okay.
So the more foliage and a blade,
The blade,
blade,
yes.
or
yes.
yeah, the more foliage or blades you can grow, the bigger the root's going to be. And that would be true with a tree or a plant too.
Right.
If it didn't have much in the way of leaves, it couldn't have much in the way of roots, probably.
That's exactly right.
You know,
yeah.
because that's where it's going to store the energy that's produced
Yes.
by the leaves. It's going to store it in the root.
Yes.
And so think about onions not as a root crop, but as a foliage crop. So you feed the heck out of that foliage,
Yes.
you know, and get that growing up there good. And then at a certain point, you kind of quit feeding the foliage, so it'll start storing the energy,
The energy
in the bulb.
in the root, yes.
And that's usually at about the time the onion starts to enlarge or bulb. They call it
Enlarge.
bulbing. Then you'll slack off on the nitrogen. Keep adding the water, but slack off on the nitrogen, and let it store that energy in the
And
root.
then pull dirt away from it. Like most plants, you put dirt to, but the
Yeah.
onion you take it away from.
Yeah, I would pull dirt away. I did this, and I pulled dirt away, and did it again, and then I made a real short video, and I didn't put it up as public.
Right.
Okay, I put it up specific for these people who was helping me. Okay, and so I sent them the video, and I sent them the URL, and said, go look at this video. And so she come back at me with an email and said, no, you ain't got enough dirt away from me yet. You got to pull more dirt away.
Oh,
She
okay.
She said, pull dirt away to it where that onion is just sitting on top of the ground with the roots in the ground. That's all. And so I went out there. That's what I did. I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna kill them, but I'll do what she said.
But I have noticed with us, it does take about 3 years of gardening
Yeah.
to get a seed that, you know, really is acclimated to my climate really good here.
I do the same thing. I save a lot of seed. You know. One of the things that concerns a lot of people is the GMO grains and seeds. So
Right.
they've got GMO sugar beets now. They got GMO potatoes.
Yes, yes, I'm
You know,
familiar with that.
They
yeah.
spray when they get ready to harvest potatoes, like out in Colorado or in Utah or wherever they grow potatoes out there. They come on there and they spray that whole field with Roundup,
Yes.
kill them vines,
Mhm.
and then they'll come in with their digger or the machine and
Right.
and pull them potatoes. Well, I don't want no Roundup sprayed potato.
No, that's one of the reasons we raise as much as we do here is just simply because, I mean, we were thinking here a while back, we were buying pure cane sugar to do our canning and stuff like that with, until I talked to a guy who is into the sugar cane business, and he told me, he says, oh no, we all spray our fields with Roundup to knock the fodder off of the cane before we actually do it.
Makes the harvesting easier.
Exactly. And they don't just burn the fields off like they used to, or have people go through and strip them like they used to. Now they just spray them, and I said, is there not anything in this society anymore we can get that doesn't have Roundup in it? I mean, I don't know if there is.
If you're buying it from the store, the answer is no, because it's all got Roundup in it.
And
It's only if you're doing like we're talking about. Now, even organic, I don't know. That's probably getting tainted too.
well, I've called some companies, because anytime I try a new product, I always call the company. And there's some pretty notable companies out there that people that has organic wrote on it, and I call them and I would ask them, I said, can you promise me that this product was not sprayed with Roundup to defoliate it before it was harvested? And I would not doubt to say that 98% of every one of those companies told me they could not guarantee me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
And we're talking about big name products.
Oh yeah. And what's happening is, and you look at the health of the average American, it's going downhill.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And you ask yourself the question of why, and the answer is the food.
It is the food.
And everybody's got a can of Coca-Cola in their hand.
Oh, that too. Yeah,
all
we're
the
eating
time.
12 teaspoons of sugar ever.
Yeah, which is high fructose corn syrup, which destroys your brain.
Yes.
So look at all the autism, look at all the AHAD stuff that kids have these days.
Yes.
It just simply goes back to lifestyle.
It goes back to lifestyle. That's exactly right. And this is a sad thing that really bothers me a lot. A lot of people watch our videos and they'll make the comment, I really love what you're doing, but I'm just not going to go through all that work to get that.
Well, okay. Deal with what's going to happen to you, because it is definitely going to happen. You know, they're saying now that the younger generation coming on will not have as long a lifespan as my generation and perhaps your generation.
Right.
We're talking about the younger one now, and the answer is because of food. You were talking about doing a Bible channel.
Yes, I have a Bible channel.
And the idea is basically good. And I consider myself to be a Bible student.
Right.
And again, I'm careful here, don't break my arm, pat my back. Okay. You know about that.
You're quite familiar with that one.
So when you get in the Book of Daniel, I've always loved the Book of Daniel.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, love the Book of Daniel.
And it talks about a big image.
Nebuchadnezzar image.
Nebuchadnezzar,
Yes.
and a huge image. So okay, do you know all of those
The different layers of
what they mean?
Yes.
You know, they're governments.
They're governments.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
They're feet of clay and iron. Yes. As an empire, the last one is actually going to crumble.
that's right. And so that empire of clay and iron represents what's called the Anglo-American Empire.
Yes.
England and America. And then the beast that's talked about in Revelation is the United Nations.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that. Yes.
Okay. And then, because Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, he said, you, king, the head of gold is you.
Yes.
And then he went on later, then Daniel had a vision of his own, not the king, but Daniel had a vision of the beast.
Right.
Okay, and those beasts represents governments.
Governments and heads of nations.
Nations, yeah. And so when you look at all of that and you tie that together with Revelation, you'll find that that the current world power is the one that's spoken of there as being the last one. So what that tells us is that we're in what's called the last days.
The last days. Yeah.